This is Sheer Isolation. It's presented by Kieran Moore in Trowbridge and John Ponting in Cricklade. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This is Sheer Isolation. I am John Ponting in Cricklade, and Kieran Moore is joining me from Trowbridge.
Yo, yo.
Did I nearly catch you there getting something out of your teeth?
I've got nuts in my mouth, which is in keeping with our guest today, Jimmy Nutkins Nutbrush Nutter.
An incredible opening statement. Thank you for that, Kieran.
Yeah, there you go.
So, purpose of Sheer Isolation is to promote and highlight the local music and art scene across the west of England. We're crossing over the border slightly today. We're heading over to Wales to talk to our guest, Jimmy Watkins. Why is he known as Nutkins? Just because it sounds like Watkins.
Because Watkins, and he's a crazy nutbag. It's also his Twitter handle. So
I'm not sure where to start with this interview. I mean, he could have run in the Olympics, decided to go join a band instead, and now he inspires people across the world with his album reviews while he's running, and then posts it on YouTube.
He's an absolute genius. He's a real outlier.
I don't know why we didn't think of that when it was the start of lockdown. We could have just sat in our rooms and made a podcast, or we could have actually combined it with exercise.
That's what we should have been doing, John. We should have been doing podcasts. We'd have been running and going, anyway, so you can imagine it'd been awful.
Yeah, because you can't run. I don't know. Can you run? You don't run.
I used to be a sprinter. I was never a stamina runner, no.
Karen, have you been to any gigs this week?
Since I last saw you or spoke to you on Friday night, I went to Moles to watch excerpts for the Revive Live tour. Basically, I bought 3 tickets and had 3 guest tickets, and I ended up only taking 1 friend. I had 4 spare tickets. So I'm a loner who has no friends.
Joe, I remember you saying you got tickets, and I was like, oh, I'll think about that. And then I promptly did not think about that at all.
I literally invited so many people. A lot of people let me down on the day. Tom Weeks from Narwhals said, yeah, he'd come, and then he didn't turn up.
That's worse than me just forgetting.
Dan and Georgie were like, no, I can't come. Rachel couldn't come. So I ended up going with Liz from Bristol, ex-Trowbridge resident. She's one of the board of directors at Trowbridge Town Hall. She came, and we had great fun. We met up with the Swindon crew. More people from Swindon came than my friends came. It's ridiculous. Anyway.
I feel like this is turning into a therapy session for you.
No, it's fine.
We should play a tune anyway. We are going to play a track. This is a band we've played before, but not this tune. This is their new one, Erotic Secrets of Pompeii, and their new track, which you had some involvement with the video.
So yeah, the reason I've chosen this is because we hadn't played it, and since filming the video with them in Trowbridge, I was a very small part to play. I basically unlocked the building and let them get on with it. But the very small part to play I'd had to play, they recorded this video and they've released it. So now we can share it on the podcast. So this is Erotic Secrets, as you just pointed out. As we probably know already, but they're a local band from Chippenham, Bristol. And they signed to an agency called Marshall. They're going away. They're going to repackage it in a new, rather than a series of singles, there's going to be an album and an EP and stuff. They've got really good videos. It's all coming, they're going to really come back later this year, really strong, and next year with an album and all sorts. It's going to be a really exciting time for them. But in the meantime, this is their new video.
The best way to serve the age is to betray. I used revolutionaries can't be trusted. They do as they say how they feel while eating their succulent Chinese meal. Yes, 50% or less. Yes, take it to common sense. I would do anything for the attention. Beware false prophets, I am one. The best way to serve the age is to betray. My tongue, it lingers for water. Plug it out just for the hell of it. I shan't leave this gilded cage. I shall behave. My God, we hinder and falter. Snuff me out for the hell of it. The best way to serve the age is to betray. Denounce the father, the warmonger, in his meat suit freshly laundered. Kiss your rictus, you tethered monster. You ain't getting any younger. You ain't getting any younger. The best way to serve the age is to betray. My tongue, it lingers for water. Pluck it out just for the hell of it. I shall leave this gilded cage. I shall behave. My God, we hinder and falter. Stuff me out for the hell of it. The best way to serve the age is to betray.
Yeah, you need to listen out for these guys. So they're called The Erotic Secrets of Pompeii. That track is called Nemesis Please, which was filmed at
Trowbridge Town Hall.
Trowbridge Town Hall, Kieran's place of work.
In what, way back in like June or something.
Now, that's not that long ago.
It might have been earlier than that. It might have been May. It was a long time ago. It was a May bank holiday. It was May. There you go.
There you go. We got there in the end. Good.
Yeah.
Definitely a band to look out for anyway. And as Kieran said, they got some new material coming out in the coming months. So yeah. Kieran, have you got any product placement this week?
I've ordered a bunch of stuff, but I'm waiting for it to come, but it hasn't come.
Is there anything you're excited about then?
Yeah, so this is a classic. Everyone's done this, right? When you've got a record collection, you've got some CDs, you lend a CD to a mate, you move house, you lose the CD, you never see it again. And so I had this instance recently where Rival Schools got announced for 2,000 Trees, and I was really excited. So I started going back for my Rival Schools collection, loving it all. Yeah, great. My Quick Sound, yeah, love all that, brilliant. I went to go pick up Walter Schreifel's solo album. Could not find that CD anywhere. I've obviously lent it to someone. I've obviously lost it. So I had to rebuy it on Discogs for 10 quid import, which, is the same price as a brand new CD, John.
Is it worth it, though?
Yeah, it's a great album. So I'm looking forward to it.
Cool. Let's move on to our guest for the week, then. Who goes by many names. I've just got him written down as Jimmy Watkins, the Running Punks. When you said we're talking to the Running Punks later, my head immediately went to a running club with Mohicans, and I thought in my brain that's fanciful. This obviously it's a band or it's some kind of punk formation, some kind of like biker gang, but for punks, and they call themselves run. But no, this is right. This is music lovers, musicians, fans who also do a bit of running.
A bit of running to assist with anything really, just exercise, just enjoying your life, but also for musicians who perhaps would benefit from a bit of exercise and a little bit of time away from the situation that they're in and get back in the zone and get sort of grounded again. He does detail it in the interview, but what a wonderful idea. And as he points out, unbelievable that someone hadn't already previously done it. So real outlier there. So, really proud and happy for him. So top man.
So I think we're going to turn this one into a two-parter because we had a really good chat with him, got plenty of material. So
Okay.
this first part will be specifically about the running punks and how it was formed and what it is. And then next week we'll talk about the fact that he could have run in the Olympics and he was in bands like Future of the Left, which shouldn't be the side story, but
No,
we are
quite.
where we are.
Okay, so my name is Jimmy Watkins. I started out as an athlete. I was a professional and elite 800-meter runner. I ran for Great Britain in the World Championships. And then 2 years before the Olympics, I quit the sport to start a rock band. And then I ended up touring the world with a band called Future of the Left. I left Future of the Left in 2014, I think. Had a very unhealthy lifestyle, lots of drinking, lots of partying, not looking after myself. Then in 2019, after like being quite concerned about my mental health and my physical health, I started running again. And then I set up a thing called Running Punks with my friend Rodri. I fell in love with running. I got sober. I fell in love with music again. And now Running Punks is a worldwide running community full of music lovers and like people just encourage each other to be the best versions of themselves possible. So that's me.
Tell us more about Running Punks. How why how did that come about?
Yeah, so Running Punks it came about. I started running again. And I didn't know at the time, I didn't know what it would do for my mental health and stuff. I started running because I just felt physically out of shape. So I started running to lose a bit of weight, basically, and to like just feel a little bit healthier. And quite soon into like my return to running, I'd say just over 2 months into it, I started noticing that I was having less panic attacks. I had a lot less anxiety, kind of without being too over the top, but the voices in my head kind of calmed down and I started to feel a lot happier, a lot more positive about things. So I kind of was really upfront about it online, just saying, look, I've started running again. Not only am I feeling better physically, I'm feeling better mentally. And then a friend of mine called Rodri, who I was in a band with in school, got in touch, and he's a musician, and he said, look, I'm feeling exactly the same things as you. It's crazy, like I've been neglecting my mental health. I've started running, I'm feeling good again. And we had this conversation that there must be so many other people in bands who would be similar to us, who could benefit from just going for a run. Like if you just went for a run before sound check, or do you know what I mean? Just a little 10, 20 minutes of running to clear the head, it would have prevented a lot of the chaos that went on because of drinking and no exercise. So we just had this conversation that, look, if it's worked for me and you, it must work for other musicians. So Running Punks was set up to help musicians to feel good mentally and physically. But we set it up and then lockdown happened. The plan initially was to like go to Cardiff whenever bands were touring and offer to take them for runs and stuff like that. But because gigging stopped, we turned the focus then to music fans. And we noticed the music fans and musicians have a lot in common, as in we all suffer from mental struggles. We all have mental health issues now and again. So yeah, it just switched from musicians to music fans, and it just picked up its own kind of momentum from there. And yeah,
I mean, it absolutely did. I remember watching the very first few videos. How did the reviews of albums come about? Was that something that was that from the beginning? Was that I'll go for a run, I'll listen to a record and I'll review it as I run, or did it happen accidentally?
It started during lockdown, and it's hard to imagine, but the world at the start of lockdown was so different to anything we've known. And runners kind of had like a bad name because people were saying things like, oh, someone runs past me and they breathe in my face, might spread COVID. So the one thing which had kind of been a saving grace for me for a year was kind of all of a sudden, like, I don't know if I'm allowed to do this anymore. And I needed something to take my mind off it. And I needed something to, like, I don't know, make running still feel like a good thing for me to do. So I started listening to music again. I was like, I tell you what, I listened to albums I never listened to before. So I put online that, look, running feels a bit weird at the moment. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, rather than go for a distance run, I'm just going to run to an album. When the album's over, that's the end of my run. In my way, it was like a way of making a run short, less harmful. It's like, no, I'm just out running to music. I'm not like actually training over the top. I'm just going for a run, listening to music. So, and then I was just thinking, a lot of these, I did a few runs to albums I never heard, and I just kept it to myself. And I was kind of thinking, I really should capture this, because a lot of this stuff I should have listened to before. So I just had this idea just to film myself listening to music for the first time, and that was it. I had the idea walking home from a supermarket, and I thought, someone's definitely done this. Someone has definitely reviewed music while running. I got home and Googled it, saw that nobody had done it. I kind of couldn't believe it. And I just did one that day. I did a Spice Girls album.
Amazing.
I ran to a Spice Girls album and just filmed it and put it online. And it was one of those things where I left my phone for an hour and looked at it, and I was kind of thinking, this has gone quite mad. Like this really silly video has inspired, like straight away I could see there was inspiring people saying, oh, I needed this to get me out the door. And yeah, I knew straight away, like this is something a bit different, a bit magic, really.
So you knew straight away that you'd accidentally stumbled on something that was genuinely unique and ridiculously special.
Yeah, it's quite rare. It's quite rare, like when you're 38 years old, to do something that you've never done before and nobody else on the planet has done before. It was quite like I felt like an inventor. I was like,
it was a stroke of genius. It was a stroke of genius. I remember you reviewing the Rammstein album, and you'd never listened to Rammstein. I was like, how have you never listened to Rammstein?
Yeah.
And then the videos they weigh in like 3 to sort of 10 minutes long, depending on how much content you've got to fill. But they are, I mean, for anybody who hasn't listened to them, I encourage you to go look up Running Punks and go look at some of Jimmy's reviews, because they're so fucking entertaining. They are crazy. And it doesn't matter if you know the music or not, because you can absolutely get what's coming at you from Jimmy's reaction. And they're just fantastic.
I need something that's going to lift my spirits, make me run with a big smile on my face. And I've been told to take Special by Lizzo for a run with me. The watch is on, the music's on, and we're off. Come on, let's go, 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 go. Ah, I love that. It starts like my mother opening the curtains at 8 a.m. in my bedroom on the summer holidays when I was a kid. We've got some drums coming in, and that feels good. We've got the bass coming in. Oh my word. I am zorbing down a very busy high street, and nothing can stop me now. We've got the snare, which is as springy as a drum and bass snare sound, a bass which sounds like an explosion underwater, a guitar solo there that sounds like Prince galloping across the White House on a unicorn. That is the kind of thing I need to hear this morning.
But how quickly did it spawn its own identity? Because I know it's like you said earlier, it's gone around the world. How quickly before it started having like Running Punks Manchester and Running Punks Australia, etc.?
Really quick. I think a big turning point was when Lauren Laverne saw one. She saw a Dead Kennedys one, and she played a clip of it on the radio, and then I was on the radio the week after talking about it, and I think that was a massive turning point. Run the Jewels used a clip of one for an advert for their album. So that was like crazy for getting Running Punks out there in America and stuff. That was amazing. I remember doing the Run the Jewels one and Killer Mike LP Run the Jewels all shared it, and just getting messages from people like in Arizona saying, I've just gone for my first ever run because I saw you run into the Run the Jewels album. It was mind blowing. Tom Jones putting one on his own Instagram page. Was just mad. Tom Jones,
Welsh royalty.
Yeah, like him sharing a running review and saying this is the best review of an album I've ever had was, yeah, that was. You definitely noticed that, people will just see it and they're like, oh, that's kind of like, I have never seen running like that. For lots of people, it's the first. I've never seen it like that, and no. It's just that one nudge that people need to get out the door. So.
No, I mean, it's absolutely genius. I'm going to confess here now that I am not a runner. In fact, okay. I really dislike running. But that's not to say that I don't get value out of them, because I will absolutely get on my bike and go for a bike ride and do the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm a cycling punk, really.
The main thing for me is that I don't know, I managed to capture a period in time where I fell in love with music again.
Yes,
that is, there was a time where I honestly thought I was no longer in love with music, and I thought the days of finding new bands are over. I was just gonna be one of these people who listens to stuff I grew up listening to, and I was never gonna discover new bands. That was gone for me. So to capture all that is like, I just feel so happy that I've done it. So happy that I can be like, there's this 1 year period of my life where I fell in love with music, and every moment has been caught on film forever. It's like,
absolutely, it comes across as well. It genuinely does come across, like your passion for music. It is absolutely sensational.
Because that was gone. That honestly went. That went after Future left. I was, even though I carried on making music, I was no longer a music fan. No,
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, no new bands, nothing excited me. I was just listening to what I grew up listening to, and that was it.
What's next for Running Punks? Have you got any sort of plans for where it's going, or what it's going to do, or how else it can grow and develop?
Yeah, so we've got, well, first of all, we got the Llanelli Half Marathon, which is this weekend, and we are like the main official run club of it. So I think we got about 50 or 60 running punks come in.
Incredible.
Run around together and just cause chaos.
Yeah.
A documentary being made.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, which is pretty wild. So we've been filming that for nearly a year. There's talks of us going abroad to finish it. I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but
that's enough. That's enough. Let's not get you in trouble.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble, but there's a TV thing being made.
Cool.
And I think just to keep on growing, but keep on growing
in a positive way.
Yeah, and having the community at the center of it. Really, that's the main thing for Running Punks.
Well, I mean, it's an absolutely fascinating story, how it all came about naturally and unexpectedly. And I think those are the best things when it happens like that.
Yeah, it's so rare. It's so rare to do something for yourself.
Yeah,
like purely for yourself, and then to find it helping people around the world is I don't know. I can't really think of anything where that's happened. You know, where it's just been I remember going for my first run, and I was like, I need to do this for myself. Like I feel like rubbish. I need to go for a run. And then less than 2 years later, there's thousands of people running around the world because of it. So
it just goes to show that the possibilities on anything in life is endless, because there you were going for a run, and 2 years later you could potentially be, flown around the world and, and held up as this guy that's changed people's lives. And that is so incredibly positive and empowering. Right, Jimmy, we always get the guests to pick a song on the lead out. What song have you chosen for us, and why?
I have picked the song Nid Air by Welsh band Adwaith. I love this band. I think they're great. That's one reason. Another reason is that I've just started a new musical project, and Gwen from Adwaith plays bass in my new band, so I'm picking it for that as well. But it's a great song, and it's really exciting time for Welsh language music at the moment. It's kind of breaking out of Wales.
I need to practice my Welsh now, but that track is called Nidawa, and it is by Adwaith.
Adwaith. No, that's not how I would have pronounced it, but that's how he pronounced it. So I'm going with what he said.
I always remember with Welsh, the vowels sound differently, particularly the I and the U. They are different. I tried to teach myself a bit of Welsh. I got Welsh on Duolingo.
Oh, okay. It's quite a difficult language, isn't it?
It is, yeah. That's kind of the challenge.
I really feel like part of me is Welsh and I should learn the language.
Oh,
It's never
same.
gonna happen, but...
Yeah.
Anyway,
this time in about a few years' time, Kieran, when we're doing the podcast, we will not be doing it on the West. We will be doing it on Wales because we'll both be living there
yeah, let's hope so.
in our beach huts with our surfboards. Oh, that's something. We could start a podcast reviewing albums while surfing.
Oh, there you go. New niche.
Yeah, I can't swim, so you'll have to do that. Have you got any news this week?
As you're probably aware, I run the pump in Trowbridge, and we're very actively looking forward to bookings for next year, and we're getting some really great stuff come in, and etc. etc. However, I have just announced a show for this year on November the 4th for a chap called Liam Crombie. His name will be familiar to many because he was the frontman of We Are the Ocean. And he's got a debut album coming out in his own right. He's done a Frank Turner. He's left his popular alternative rock band and he's gone solo. And I've been sent a link. I don't know if the link is secret, so I don't know if I can share it or not. I've been sent a link. It's got 4 tracks on it. And the second track I listened to, we can't play it on here yet. There's no video, but I listened to the second track and it sounds a lot like Sam's Town era of Killers. It's that kind of, it's quite big sounding, poppy, rocky, very accessible. I liked it a lot. So he's coming to Trowbridge. This is great, John. I love this. Tour poster. It says London, Trowbridge, Leeds. There you go. I mean, I just love sometimes how you can really punch above your weight. It's just sensational. So there you go.
This is the second time in about a month that you've had this like on a mini tour, and you've got all the big cities around you, then Trowbridge stuck in the middle. We've
had so many tours recently like that. We got the Often Heard in a couple of weeks. Last week we had Annie Dresner. We've had loads of amazing tours with Trowbridge on tour posters. In fact, this is better. This is better than when I used to do it in Devizes. It's more consistent now I'm doing it in Trowbridge. I don't know why.
Oh, sounds like things are going well for you down there. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah, it is going very well.
I've just picked a few gigs that are happening over the coming weeks. I'm looking towards the first week of October now. Just a few things that caught my eye. So on the 1st of October, you are spoilt for choice for tributes. And we've said this before, Swindon is becoming kind of a real hub of tribute. But on the same night, you can see Mortalica, it's just like the name, bit of Metallica at level 3, or there's a Fleetwood Mac tribute at Mecca.
Oh, right.
And every time I do a search for gigs in Swindon, chances are that the top like 3 or 4 will all be tribute acts, and then you really got to look a bit deeper to find the smaller original acts.
Swindon is a big town for tributes. I think most towns probably are to an extent, but they do have original music in their defence. So
you just got to go find it. You got to know where to look. Cool. Thanks for that, Kieran. If anyone wants to get in touch with us, you can email sheerisolation@gmail.com, or you can go on to sheerisolation.co.uk, find us on all the usual streaming services as well. Kieran, thank you for your time this evening.
Absolute pleasure.
We will be back same time, same place next week, and I will speak to you next. Have a good week. I'll speak to you next week.
Take care, my friend. All the best.
See you later. Cheers. All right.
Bye.
Bye.